Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go watch a movie with PJ. Lord, and he's always glad you came. You wanna be where you could see our troubles are all the same. You wanna go and watch a movie with PJ.
It's always a good Monday to start hearing that wonderful Cheers-like theme from the golden tones of one Chris Clark. Even if there's no potato singing at us or a pineapple or whatever inanimate object that shouldn't be singing but is, I'm always happy to hear it, you guys. You know why? Because it means we're back for another watch along. I believe this is watch along 34 at this point. Something like that. I've lost track of how many we've been doing, but it's amazing that we've gone so far since the beginning of all this crazy quarantine COVID stuff. And you guys have been here like every step of the way. So thank you for coming out to our Monday night screening. Tonight we are doing Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. This is, in my opinion, one of the finest animated features DC has ever put out. One of the last ones in this bigger DC universe that they had created in the 90s. And I'm really excited to sit down and watch this with you guys. There's a lot of stuff that's very, very cool. But real quick, before we get into that, I'm just going to introduce our host. Then we're going to go through a little bit of housekeeping. But, I'm happy to see him every time he's here. I'm happy he's been doing more watch-alongs with me recently, and that is one Mr. Chris Clark. How are you, my friend?
Oh, this is going to be a fun watch-along. I really enjoyed talking about Batman the Animated Series last week. We get to delve really deep into Batman Beyond, which takes place 50 years in the future, and also the timeline with this whole entire show, because as you said, this is the last DC Animated Universe movie in continuity.
Yes.
That was released. There's been Justice League and Justice League Unlimited were released after this and all of that stuff. But in continuity, especially when we get to the flashback thing, this is the last point of
Thank
the
you,
actual
Mike, by the way, 36.
DC animated. So this is going to be phenomenal. Yeah, this is number 36 too. So I'm excited to watch this.
I am too, man. And can you believe that we are now 36 deep into this when the very first one of these we did, and I think Mike K might have been the only one who really watched that first one with us, was Army of Darkness. It's such a small thing. We were just kind of doing it on a whim, seeing if it would work. And Army of Darkness ended up being a blast. And we were like, we could just keep doing this. And so we did, man.
It's fun.
I like it a lot. And now, of course, I'm happy to also report that we have someone back this week. He was lost in the woods, I believe. Maybe very similar to Evil Dead. I'm not sure if he was fighting Deadites or not. But one Mr. Patrick Hogue is also back with us tonight. Hello, my friend.
Hello. I was not fighting Deadites, but I did fight my first lobster. I had a lobster for the first time in Maine. And let me tell you, that was the weirdest eating experience of my goddamn life because, dear Lord, you have to literally destroy this creature that you're eating. And it was really good because you could dip it in butter and then eat it. But I'm back. No more lobster. So I'm excited to be here, guys. And I did want to say, hearing that theme song again and, just getting back into the dance, into the groove, I can't wait until we're at the point where, we can just say, we need someone to animate that. And just, someone comes in and, puts our faces,
that'd be great.
Not on potatoes or pineapples, but, on just,
and
other sitcom characters.
Could you imagine if someone out there who is more talented than me, for sure, because I couldn't do it, it literally was the Cheers opening of people like us animated as Cheers characters. Yeah.
I was thinking about it when we all conglomerate and meet each other again at another Schmoedown event or something. We should film a watch along title sequence and make it a music video, and yes. I would cut it and we would film the actual title sequence. That would be fun.
God,
it would.
Yeah. Mike K did say something. Yes, Mystery of the Batwoman was released in 2003, 3 years after this film. I said in continuity. This is the last thing in continuity in the DC animated universe outside of Epilogue from Justice League Unlimited. Mystery of the Batwoman happens in between Justice League and Batman the Animated Series. It's a good film.
It's a good film, man. But real quick, before we jump into this, because I know we all have a lot to talk about, There's a lot going on, and I real quick, I do want to say sorry that Cloverfield got canceled last week, you guys. It became apparent about 15 minutes before that we had just finished the matches for Schmodown, which I have to be involved in behind the scenes, and I was very tired, and the rest of the crew was feeling a little tired, and we were like, we're going to go ahead and push it back. So what's going to happen this Friday? Well, you guessed it. 10 Cloverfield Lane, but it is not just 10 Cloverfield Lane. We are going to also try to do the host. We know that there is a bigger event going on this week, but we're going to try to double feature this boy, and it should be a ton of fun. I'm excited to, if not, we'll do at least one of them. It'll probably be 10 Cloverfield just to keep it tradition. It's a weird time. The pay-per-view events, just for you guys, just to be completely transparent, because I have to be on them. That's part of the reason that they were starting later, and it's a lot of work. We've got a lot of moving parts right now with the singles tournament. I'm deep into working on the show over there. And as much as I love doing this, I also don't want to put this on everyone else. So I'd rather we take a break and take a breather, and the live action watch alongs will come back. And we will be doing one of them on Friday. And
we would have had and we're going to have a stronger commentary on Friday than it'd be like, like everybody's exhausted.
Brains melting.
Yeah.
So we'll be back. But, on top of that, come to the end of the month, we are going to be doing our double feature watch along with one Sean Sullivan, where we are going to be doing Godzilla 98 and Pacific Rim, which I am very, very excited about. Godzilla 98 is a movie that exists, and I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. There's a lot of great things that came out of the 90s. I'm not sure that's one of them, but I can't wait to talk about it.
It's great trash. It's fun trash.
Great trash. Of course, if you guys have not already, please check out last week's Suddenly Soundtracks. We had a great time talking all things Little Shop of Horrors. The three of us were all on it. I thought it was a great show. I can't wait for you guys to see it. But that also means come this Wednesday, the Newsies episode finally drops with former Inner Geekdom champion of the world, Kevin Smith. Weird to say that out loud. Kristen Smith and Robert Parker, as they talk all things Newsies. If you haven't already, please also check out last week's watch along where we talked Mask of Phantasm. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot to break down. And this Thursday, Front Center Mezzanine returns with our friend Allison Brezzi. You guys are going to have so much to learn. I can't wait to talk to her and learn about her experience in the Broadway community. And of course, as you guys know, hashtag Scary Movie Squad. It's coming. September is just around the corner. Look at that lineup. Look at the faces that are involved. There's so much going on. There are some secret double features in this that we have not announced yet to you guys.
There's a new graphic coming out too. Once we have all of that announced and stuff, it's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing. I just look at the poster art and I just get so hyped for the things that we're doing, you guys. I would love to know what the chat is saying or what the chat is most excited about with this, because there's just so many good movies. I mean, Hogue, what are you feeling right now?
I mean, I'm a horror junkie.
Me too.
No surprise to anybody. It's really like there's a lot of things to fill in for me in terms of like missing spots, namely Halloween. I've never seen a single Halloween movie. But you've been suggesting Haunt for a while, but I a couple of the Friday the 13th, I've seen a bunch of them. Cabin in the Woods is one of my favorite movies of all time, and then just I don't know, like the little gems that we can introduce to some people that still haven't seen them, like Killer Clowns, like Trick or Treat. It's I don't know. I like the kind of the wide ranging of everything there. And Scream I hadn't seen in a long time, and I feel like I've kind of felt less and less about it the less I watch it. So I'm kind of excited to get that re-perspective of it. So it's we're getting ready for my favorite season. So it's like, let's go in with a bang.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's exactly what it's looking like. And I mean, if you guys see this, imagine what we're going to be doing through like Christmas and Hanukkah season. Like, you can prepare yourselves for even more. We've already been talking about it behind the scenes.
Festive Movie Squad.
Yeah, the hashtag Festive Movie Squad. But there's a swath of horror here. That's what we were really aiming for. Chris, what do you see on that list that you're very excited to talk about?
Well, I've gotten into a lot of things blind with horror. I'm not really I don't watch horror on a regular basis, and it's going to be good to watch a lot of that blind, especially with people who really enjoy the thing. Especially when I'm going to turn off all my lights and watch, because literally my screen might be really dark, because I enjoy watching horror things at night. Because if you see something in the shadows that looks like a figure, it makes the thing you're watching that much scarier because you think it's going to get you. So I just feel like horror in general is great. What I'm excited, probably Sleepy Hollow. I love is the one movie that I kind of suggested that I feel like it's one of Tim Burton's best, and
Right.
it's not even it's horror, it's gore, but it actually has that kind of.
It's more of an urban legend type of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of like a dark fairy tale.
Yeah,
and it kind of helps that like a majority of the cast is from Harry Potter too, which you get that kind of feel. It's whimsical. It's very, very fantastical. Also, I would say that I'm excited to see Scream. I've seen that before. It's funny. It's basically a satire. And so is Cabin in the Woods, kind of. So
yeah,
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So yeah.
And I do think you could pitch it like you get to see the cast of Harry Potter be like disemboweled and like this ain't no school for these wizards. You know what I'm saying?
And I was really happy. Like we really haven't talked about how the list came up. Franco was Tim Franco, who's going to be on every one of these watch-alongs as well with Kristen Smith and some others. Tim was the one who came up with the entirety of September, and then the rest of the movies all kind of fell into place of literally people on the channel picking and choosing some of their favorite horror films and us deciding, why don't we give everyone a say? Let's all introduce movies that we all really love. And I think that we've created a really cool list because, again, similar to Christmas time, Halloween is my second favorite time of the year. And since we aren't going to get a haunt season this year, we kind of joked about it last week, but I mean, look at this. It kind of looks like you're at Halloween Horror Nights or Not Scary Farm, and you're looking at the mazes that you're going to go through. That's what we're kind of doing. We're trying to recreate that scary movie season and that haunt season for people. So I'm really excited to sit down and really just like buckle in, man. It's going to be a good time, I think. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm hyped.
Hell yeah.
Hell
yeah. You know, scary.
I like where your head's at. And then final thing, you guys, if you haven't already, we do have a Spotify and an iTunes account if you want to listen to us on audio because you don't want to see our faces. And hey, who can blame you? Although I think that we're very handsome individuals. You can find us over on Spotify and iTunes, and that's great too. So give us a listen. And sounds like Chris has got a movie on over there. Someone's got, or maybe it's Pat Hogue who's getting this.
No, not me. I wouldn't start without us.
It's me. I just had to get everything.
I figured as much. And then real quick, guys, this is going to be a very special triple feature that's going to happen right as we go into scary movie season. But we've announced it. It's happening. Bill and Ted, their excellent adventure, their bogus journey, and then Facing the Music. We are going to be doing a triple feature probably at the very end of August or the beginning of September. The date is TBD. We are going to watch all three films together at one place, one time, to go on this very fun, just feel-good adventure series with Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Start with Chris Clark. How are you feeling about the Bill and Ted movies, my friend?
I've never seen a single one except the first one. So it's going to be another blind trip, and it's going to be, I mean, Bill and Ted, it's nostalgia. Again, it's like Wayne's World, but with time machines. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Absolutely. And Hogue?
Same with Chris. I've never seen Bill and Ted, but goddamn that trailer for the third one. And what better way to celebrate the Keanu-sans?
Yes.
Than, a trilogy of excellence.
Shout out to Ferris. 3 movies. Holy shit. Yes, sir. It's happening. They're like 90 minutes each. That's why we were like, I think we can do it. Well, there's something to be said about their 90-minute films. They're very easy. We might break them down later as separate audio only commentaries for each movie if people just want the commentary for, say, Excellent Adventure or whatever happens. But for one night only, triple feature, Bill and Ted. It's going to be a ton of fun.
There will be energy.
Some of my favorite movies of all time. That is true. And of course, you guys, if you don't already know, we do have a Streamlabs account. Go ahead and toss us a few shekels if you so kindly could. It helps us keep the lights on. And we've already received one before this already starts. Is from Michael K, who donated and said, "My heart goes out to everyone at DC Comics Night in light of recent news. For those who don't know what happened, DC Comics is going through massive layoffs tonight. It's really unfortunate, and our hearts go out to everyone at DC Comics. We know that stuff is hard right now, and that's one of those things that happens. But they do good work over there, man. Yeah. Ferris, if you do a John Wick watch along, that would be awesome.
I assume it's probably
those are not 90-minute movies.
It's all due to the fact that physical media is just kind of like, especially books and comic books, it's all on digital now.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. It sucks, but all we can do is love the things that we love, you guys. We support the artist. I don't really want to get too deep into this, but like this thing with Mulan, I know there's a lot of people upset at the $30 price point. Remember, if you're single and in your 20s and 30s, you're not the target audience for this. The $30 price tag is specifically for families. Art costs money. We all grew up in a time when Napster and torrenting became very prevalent, but just because people take art for free does not make it right to take art for free. The artists work very hard to make the art that you enjoy, so give back when you can. I know things are tough right now.
And you get to keep it forever. So
yeah, I'm not saying you need to buy it. I'm not saying that, but I'm also saying, please also understand art costs money. You know what I mean? Like it just bottom line, art costs money, support the artist. And that's that's about that. We've been about 15 minutes now. We're bullshitting. We're having a good time. But you know what, guys? I think it's time to watch Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker. What do you guys say?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm going to count down from 5. As soon as I say go, you hit play. You'll be watching Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker with us.
One thing. Make sure that you guys are watching the uncensored version, because there are differences between that and the. But I'm assuming everything that's on streaming is probably the uncensored. Which one are you watching it on? PJ?
I'm watching it on HBO Max, so I'm
okay. That should be
me as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are good to go. As I count down from 5 to 0, as I say go, hit play. We're all going to watch this movie together. It's going to be a good time. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go.
Now I will just notice. I just noticed the PG-13 rating.
Yep.
I'm not familiar with Batman Beyond. Like I've only seen like an episode here and there, and same with the Batman animated series. But like I know Batman movies. I know Batman overall. So this is gonna be like kind of my first experience.
The PG-13 rating comes into effect at a later point, and there's a reason why I said it's censored and uncensored. I will get to that when we get to that, because you haven't seen this before, right, Pat? So I'm not going to spoil.
No, this is the first time.
Yeah. So as you see here, it's introducing you to the world of Gotham. It's 50 years in the future, from Mask of the Phantasm. And for context of this, these people are Jokers. In the actual show, because they don't really give context to that in the film, the actual show, there are people who give, like, Joker is considered a god. So yeah, he's like a cult, like, god figure. And it was never in the show explained what happened to him, and that's what this purpose of the film is. I'll go for it. PJ, you was about to say something?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay.
I do remember Batman Beyond always sitting weird in like my kind of understanding what Batman is. And it's like kind of an element of the Batman mythology that they don't touch on a lot, of just
they don't
Batman, but it's a new legacy character.
It's the legacy of Batman himself, and what the show originally was meant to be was the studios wanted a second show. They wanted something that would sell toys, and what the producers Bruce Timm and Dwayne McDuffie figured out was, you know what, this show kind of needs to be its own thing and not really center around the. So they did make literally a new world with new toys and stuff to collect, but instead of delving into going back to the old Rogues Gallery, the entire show focused on who Terry was and the legacy of Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So I want to shout out Mike
a
K
Batman
real quick,
thing.
who says this is a Blade Runner inspired Gotham, which is an aesthetic I've always loved, and I completely agree. That's part of the thing that made me fall in love with the show. Is I love this neo-noir version of Gotham that's like very futuristic and Blade Runner like. Yeah.
The problem with Batman Beyond as a show compared to Batman the Animated Series is that Batman Beyond kind of gets a little samey after a while, because it's the same futuristic area that you see from time to time, but with different unique villains. But none of the villains are as memorable as like the Joker, Riddler, Two-Face, or Penguin, or any of that. So the show itself does get a little samey. So I feel like this movie in particular was kind of meant to bring back the people from the show that were kind of disenfranchised because the show just didn't focus on like what they thought was going to focus on, which would be the villains. So
holy shit, Taser like a champ.
I believe that's
canonical with the animated series.
Yes. So the Bruce Wayne in this movie is the same Bruce Wayne from the animated series. He's because the pilot episode starts with his last adventure as Batman before he retires.
Yeah, in the pilot episode, he essentially is trying to rescue this girl from a airline hangar, Veronica Vreeland's granddaughter. Veronica Vreeland is a character in the animated series that is established as one of Bruce Wayne's closest friends. And after that encounter where he almost gets killed, he decides to put down the bat and everything. And then Terry McGinnis shows up. Terry's father gets killed, like it is necessary for a Batman origin story. And he then discovers Bruce and he becomes Batman.
I love the score.
And the score is great because there's a lot of electric guitars and stuff. It's an
homage to Danny Elfman too.
Yeah.
Also, just like the amount of action for this opening, and it's like I've never really like seen it. I have seen clips of like the action from animated series, and like it's always like kind of excellent and beautiful. Like how fluid the action, and like it doesn't feel cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I also would like to shout out the fact that this is Boy Meets World Will Friedle as the voice of Terry McGinnis.
Yes, I did know that. I did know that.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Boy Meets World. Eric Matthews is one of the all-time great television characters. And I believe it's also Melissa Joan Hart as the Dee Dee sisters. So it's kind of funny that it's a little TGIF reunion, if you will, having these two together.
Wow.
Even
I
I
never put two and two together because Will Friedle is actually, if you're unfamiliar with him, he's in a lot of voiceover work.
Yeah, he moved to voiceover because he likes voice acting more than
it's impossible. Yeah,
well, not just that, he has real bad anxiety and he has a hard time doing live action acting, and so voice acting was more comfortable, which I love. Ferris says, "Boy Meets World raised me. It raised me too, man. I'm a child of the '90s."
Yeah. I will say though, with Boy Meets World, when they graduate high school and it becomes like this like soap opera, it kind of lost me a little bit.
How dare you? The college years are brilliant.
I'm so sorry. It just got a little sappy for me.
Why would you tell him?
Pole.
No, because
that would be horrifying to be trapped on a pole like that.
I know.
That is the thing about like these Blade Runner cities of like if you like live on the 1200th floor. And like you need like a plumber up there, and like or you have to get something off your windowsill. It's like that's horrible. That's like anxiety inducing.
I also get a little bit of Coruscant from here as well.
Totally. Ferris says you gotta love the box sets, sir. I own all of Boy Meets World on DVD. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Was Batman Beyond after Phantom Menace?
Yes, I want to say just around right.
Well,
after,
Batman Beyond aired actually in 1997 during the new Batman.
Maybe
Adventures.
I'm wrong then. Yeah,
I think the Batman Adventures because they did the whole redesign with Batman to look more slick in line with this,
right?
Which you'll see, and we'll get to that.
Oh, I always
what a great prologue cold open, by the way. Very kind of Bond-esque, if you will. That's one of the things I've always liked.
And the music is very Bond-esque if you listen to this title sequence.
Yeah. Kevin Conroy, the world's best Batman.
Yeah.
My first introduction to him and Mark Hamill as Joker were the Batman Arkham games, which are like the most stripped down and like comic-y versions in video games of those characters. So like, I didn't know they were in this.
Arkham City is the great. The reason why they're in the Arkham games is because of the animated series.
Fucking Ferris. Wow, PJ owns a box set. Shocking.
Yeah.
Are you saying that I don't own enough physical media, Ferris?
Sick burn, Ferris.
By the way, guys, I don't know if you saw it. The Shout Factory Friday the 13th box set that is coming out in October is to die for. If you're a Friday the 13th fan, pre-order that.
I would like to correct myself. The first season aired January 1999, not 1998.
And Mike K wanted to correct you. He said same year.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Mike K is my... I don't know if you guys listen to that new Scrubs podcast that they have a fact checker who does the Scrubs wiki that they call for fact checking. That is Mike K for everything that we do from now on. I'm always just like, ask Mike K in the chat. Mike will be able to tell us. Like Mike is as much of the channel as literally anyone else who's on screen.
Yeah. It's
Paul Dini. Even I know him as a Batman guy.
Yeah.
Don't you go to war with me over my box set stuff. I will fight you, sir.
Paul Dini wrote some of the best Batman animated episodes. He reinvented Mr. Freeze completely.
Yeah, he did.
He wrote Batman Arkham City.
He did.
Yeah.
Dini's still got a pretty good relationship with Batman overall as a IP.
He's right now. He's writing the
Oh my God.
Batman animated series Adventure Continues comics, which are continuing the story. So
Bruce Wayne just killed Two-Face, guys.
But
yeah.
the line,
Decapitated
still
him.
got it is my favorite. Like he's just doing it just to see if he can still do it.
Yeah.
And
The
that
fact-
feels so typical.
Yeah,
The
there's
fact that Crisis on Infinite Earth brought in Kevin Conroy to do the live-action Batman is the most
Yes.
baller move.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, Kevin Conroy playing older Batman in Crisis on Infinite Earths is a complete callback to this, where he's actually older Batman.
God, who does Terry look like? As what actor would play him?
I don't know. We've talked about that a lot because I know that WB is high on trying to do Batman Beyond. That's part of the reason they want Keaton back.
With Michael Keaton.
He looks exactly like Timothy Chalamet if Timothy Chalamet got that haircut.
You're not wrong, actually.
Those lips.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's hard. I would actually like to see somebody unknown beat Terry.
And
I wouldn't
honestly,
mind
that
that
looks
either.
more like Robert Pattinson, even though he's playing Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ferris, war. PJ, I love you. I love you too, Ferris. Don't worry.
And
Ferris, another Streamlabs. Ferris did donate. He says hello. Thank you, Ferris. We appreciate it. Hello to you too, my
Ferris.
friend. I
Thank
will
you
never
so much.
actually go to war with you.
I never really thought about this, but how weird is it that 50 years after probably all these villains died, he has like wax sculptures of them in the
Listen, Bruce Wayne is not mentally sane.
No,
all
and that's
agree
what I
on
was
that.
gonna say is like when he's sitting there throwing it and he's like, I've still got it. How typical for Bruce Wayne to be like, I still feel the need to try to fight my villains by decapitating Two-Face in the Batcave.
Yeah, it's fun. There's a lot of interesting stuff here because this whole Batcave is completely different from the actual show itself. I think they redesigned it especially for the movie.
This whole sequence and like them talking
Yeah.
about him not going out, Bruce is always trying to tell Terry to like stay in, don't go out, like get
It's the most
rest.
hypocritical thing. He
I
could-
know.
Listen, I was a Batman once, and I wish I took more naps. Like, no, you didn't.
That looks like that. There's a giant like what are those lamps called? Lava lamps.
Lava lamp.
Lambs.
It looks- Can we talk about that? These sequences, anytime they were in clubs and stuff, felt like futuristic Michael Bay movies. Like it was a very specific aesthetic. I feel like that they were going for,
A little bit. I can see that. Like
the Bad Boys nightclub sequences.
I also want to point out the simplicity of the animation. Instead of like making them lit like they are, they just colored them different
Yeah.
shades and put it frame by frame.
Yeah,
I think it actually adds a little bit more to the scene.
It also looks like something out of like Space Jam.
Yeah,
They're saying that Bruce Wayne basically taxidermied the villains.
yeah.
That's my new favorite thing. Thank you, Ferris.
It's even creepier when you think that Two-Face was once his best friend, and he just has like a wax sculpture. Doesn't mind the beheading.
The fact that he's so kind of cavalier in the fact that he, goes out because Dana obviously knows that he works for Bruce and his Batman. Like he's so cavalierly talking about that.
This is the first sequence of many I'll point out where this is why it's PG-13.
Yeah.
I'll tell you once you watch the scene, Pat, and ask me and what's different about it.
Mark Hamill coming back as the Joker in this
Mhm.
once again.
And they
Just
slicked him back. He's just in a purple suit.
yeah.
Okay.
He
This scene,
sounds
yeah.
so much younger in this. Oh my god.
yeah, this is 1999, bud. Because he was recording this at the same time as the last season of Superman, I think.
That shot when he's holding the jelly beans like
Yeah.
that is so creepy. Ah.
I like how also one of the Jokers is dressed as Scarecrow.
Yeah. Oh man.
This is intense.
It is weird for like, oh my god.
Bang.
His laugh is always just so. Mark Hamill, man, he's just the.
Yeah. He just
And then-
got shot in the heart. So in the PG edit, he doesn't obviously shoot him through the heart like that. He gasses him up and he just is sitting there laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
Which almost sounds worse.
Yeah, and he's never seen again, so it's implied that he died. But that's one of the edits here.
Yeah. I'm with Mike. I love how long they silhouette him, especially with the red eyes and stuff. It's just so good. It's a great way to reintroduce this character.
Yeah, and they just made him so simple, and it just works.
Yeah,
it's sleek. Looks like almost like a tech version that we'd imagine as like a corporate stooge nowadays, but like as the Joker, it feels disgusting in the right way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh right, dead.
Yep.
Joker's scary, man.
Mm-hmm. All of that's cut from the PG movie.
There goes his dead body.
This movie's dark for being, the show obviously was aimed at trying to sell kids' toys, but then it was like the movie went dark in the right ways to me.
It went dark, and they took chances with it. Unfortunately, this movie didn't do good in terms of sales, so the sequel with Catwoman was scrapped.
Yeah,
there was going to be a sequel with Catwoman returning, and that was all scrapped because after this failed with the DVD, they just went straight to Justice League and canceled Batman Beyond. It's a shame because in hindsight, this has become such a cult following.
Yeah.
That
and anything with the name Joker in it now would just like do bonkers.
But back then, it wasn't. It wasn't like that. Back then, it's all because this was 1999. This is a year after Batman and Robin. The whole Batman landscape kind of sadly, got tainted.
The other thing was really they've always been weird when it comes to the animated films and like expecting them to perform one way, and then they kind of shuffled this whole universe out because of this in a way, like because Beyond didn't perform well as a movie on home video, they just decided to scrap the whole universe in the end. Like Beyond got canceled and they decided to finish it in Justice League.
Yeah, and with Justice League, it became a great show. But the unfortunate thing with Justice League is that they were under the Bat embargo, which means
Bruce's. Real quick here, sorry, Chris, not to cut on, but like hearing that laugh, seeing Terry and Bruce's faces in these moments of like, exactly what's coming is just so insane and so good. And Hyena's creepy as hell right there.
And go through what's happening in Bruce's head, because it's been 50 years since he's probably seen that and heard that laugh. Going through the motions of that and knowing what later in the movie, Pat, what happens, I don't want to say anything else because it's going to spoil it for Pat.
I love that Bruce gets a little action, by the way.
Don't spoil it, but do they explain why Joker is younger?
They explained everything. Yeah.
Everything will be explained by the time it's over.
And you're gonna be mind effed. It's great. And then of course here comes Joker.
The gas coming out too is just such a great aesthetic.
Purple. Yeah,
and that shadow, and look at Bruce's face in this moment.
Yeah, like he's like, how is that possible? And also, unfortunately, because this didn't do well, the show never actually tells you what happens to any of the other rogues gallery. So it's up to your imagination what happened to them. The only person they actually show is Bane, but
just his face when this is happening, like, and I love the way that Kevin Conroy delivered that line of "it can't be." The fear that Bruce says that in, you know.
Well, it's just that the voice actors carry as much weight behind these roles as do the characters themselves, because of how well they're known.
Right,
especially
and I was
when
going to say,
with that character for at this point 8 years.
And that's what I was going to say. There's a reason that Bruce and Mark have become synonymous with being the Bruce and the Joker for so many, because they really carry the performances of the characters in the right way. Like, voice acting gets a lot of underappreciation in not being real acting, but I mean, I think that they're arguably the best performances of these characters because they carry the characters.
They also make you envision what the character is when you're reading it outside of a medium. Right. You always hear Kevin Conroy's voice when you're reading a comic book. At least that's for me.
I feel the same way. Oh, we got a Tim Franco in the house. Hello, my friend. We're glad to see you, sir. Tim Franco, again, part of hashtag Scary Movie Squad over on PJN later, starting next month.
Yep. It's going to be scary.
Spooky seasons.
Spooky, spoopy.
Yeah,
Again,
if you've seen any of the behind-the-scenes videos of Mark Hamill recording, he's
always standing
he's
up.
standing and
Yeah.
getting into it.
Yeah.
Well, and we talked a bit about it a little last week, Hogue, was that when they had him on Flash as the trickster, they basically were like, just be the Joker as, live action as the trickster. And so it was his one shot of getting a chance
Acting
to,
it out,
yeah, which was really fun. They even gave him like a little purple pinstripe suit type thing. Like, it was fun.
I also like to point out that his limo is basically the old Batman mobile, the Batmobile. Yeah. It's great. Also, you can probably ascertain that Alfred is long since passed away.
If he was still alive, I don't know if I could buy that at this point. It's like, Jesus, Alfred, I know you're reliable. Like, come on.
That's the Captain America
Shut
reference.
Up and drive.
Yeah, and Bruce being so shut off about the situation and not wanting to talk about it is it just shows how much pain the Joker's really caused him over time, Like, I love that.
And just but it's also just, it could be anything.
And
it could be anything.
By the way, so do you know who this is right here?
It's Tim Drake.
Yeah, that's Tim Drake.
Yeah. It's Robin. It's Robin. It's older Robin. So Robin, and this is obviously Commissioner Barbara Gordon.
Oh, they got married?
Huh? No, it's his daughter. Gordon's daughter.
It's Commissioner Gordon's daughter.
But Tim Drake married Barbara?
No. Different. We've cut to a different part of the scene now, my friend.
Yeah.
There is. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm a few seconds behind. Gotcha. HBO Max is not great. I was really confused for a second.
Knowing how much younger Tim is in the actual animated series to Barbara makes that really weird.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound right. Based on my little knowledge. It's cool that she's the commissioner. I didn't know that.
Yep. This world is very fleshed out in the right way, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I do love a good vision of the future where everything is still blocky, but it just moves cooler. Like chairs, automated. McGinnis.
It's also implied, obviously, that Commissioner Gordon has passed away as well.
Mike says coming up to his favorite scene right
Better
now.
Not be alive.
And Tim is saying that Scary Movie
I have
Squad
willing
is going to be
suspension.
great. I agree.
Mike, I think the scene you're thinking of might be a little bit later.
I love that the bats still live in the cave. It just makes me so happy. Anytime you see the Bat Cave with bats is a good day.
As a Batman animated series fan, I appreciate the fact that they reanimated this part of the episode into the style.
Yeah.
Because this is actually a clip from an episode. I think it's Holiday Nights where Joker on New Year's Eve took over City Hall or something and had like bells and stuff, was about to bomb the city. It was great. And it's really weird that he never mentioned Joker to Terry. Like, how do you go from being the second Batman to not knowing who the Joker is?
Yeah, that it feels like even just in the history of Gotham, that would be like
it's a plot hole that
famous.
Because he literally in the show made reference to the Jokers and all of that. He probably was familiar, but I'm just assuming that Bruce never went into it.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Where he's like, you killed him. That was, and Terry questioning him on this whole situation.
Yep. He did something apparently so bad that he had to. Again,
did they ever address that in the animated show?
Okay, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you. It'll all be.
It's arguably it's arguably the best the what this movie's known for.
And Bruce actually feeling like he has forced this on Terry when Terry took up the mantle on his own is so interesting to me. but he does care about Terry. That's what I like so much. And he doesn't want to see the same thing obviously happen to someone else.
Yeah. A lot of stuff that happens in this scene can really be gone over in depth once Pat's seen what we're talking about later.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it, but I feel bad that I'm cutting off conversation.
No. I want to. I'm assuming some people in the chat probably have never seen it. So
yeah, I don't want to spoil it for anyone
because unlike Phantasm, where you could probably see it from a mile away, this movie is structured so well that this just you don't see it coming, and you'll understand why as you see the pieces put in place.
And Bruce really trying to. That moment where he started to listen, you could see he really was paying attention, and then he really throws it back because he's just trying to get Terry to leave. He doesn't want him to go down the same route that he's seen previous Robins go or situations like that. And
it's kind of a thing with Bruce where he kind of cuts the people he cares about off to save them instead of telling them directly how he feels. And
this is why communication is so important, you guys.
He's horrible at communication. He's the smartest person in the world, but he can't communicate for shit.
I love how you're using Batman Beyond Return of the Joker as the example for that.
I mean, would you expect any less from me?
No, PJ.
I mean, there's a lot. Batman DC animated universe Batman is the prime example of that.
I mean, in general, Bruce Wayne is the example of how not to talk to people. You don't hide shit. You're forward. You say how you're feeling. You let them know what's going on. You don't hide that stuff from them.
Just read Tower of Babel.
I do remember like seeing clips of this because I remember it being really weird that like Batman has a younger brother. Like he's in a family. Like. All these elements just seem so radical for a Batman story.
Well, and it's a stark contrast to Bruce, right? I mean, that's kind of the point, is that Terry has a family, yet he's still choosing like this life. He has a girlfriend, and he's still choosing this life. He's a teenager. He could go out.
Because Batman's an introvert, Terry's an extrovert, and it's an interesting dilemma between the two. Yeah. Especially the fact that all that Terry was wanted, even throughout the entire series of Batman Beyond, is to just be with his girlfriend, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Lena, I think. And it's just this whole sequence also is insane because this is where shit hits the fan.
Absolutely.
I do kind of find it a little weird. Her friends are like, you should make new friends. And he's like, nope, you're only for me. And it's like, I get it, boyfriend and stuff, but no friends. Terry, let her explore the town. Let her, see the options because clearly you're not doing what you should.
Terry's little brother is such a snot, but this scene is hilarious. Coming from Mike, and it is Dana. In fact,
It's Dana. Okay, did I say Lena?
You did. I think you were thinking of Smallville.
Yeah, you said it.
Supergirl. Yeah.
No, Smallville. Lana Lang.
Oh, Lana. Lana's actually.
I would love, dude. I kind of wish that they had done a Smallville movie or something after the fact.
I sadly only watched up to the giant twister at the end of season 1 and never got back on the train. Is that show good?
I think it's a very interesting take on the mythos. There's a lot I like about it. There's some stuff obviously I don't necessarily love either.
But have just killed a dog.
Oh, Ace? No, I'll just tell you right now.
No, Ace is a main character of this. Do you think I'd watch? I don't like movies where dogs die. It makes me sad.
No, I'll just say that right. Ace isn't dead. No.
God, Campbell's voice work, man. Sorry, I not to cut you off, Chris, but like even the way he says that, the old friend line, just the way he says Batman, just so creepy.
Ace, of course, is named after Ace the Bat Hound from the golden age of comic books and the Batman TV series.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting to actually see the Dee-Dees not in makeup.
Yeah. Obviously, they're not dissimilar to two Harley Quinns.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of appreciate the fact that we have these Jokers because in the Batman animated series, Joker never really had henchmen. He only had Harley, and it was basically him. So it's interesting to kind of just see him be a mafioso for a change.
Yeah, because the mafioso angle is such an important angle to the character, kind of overall, if you will. Like
Mostly
mostly
in the movies, yeah. Especially after Jack Nicholson, where Jack Nicholson is essentially the mafia.
Oh, absolutely.
Joker.
Even Ledger's, to a point, if you think about it, had some henchman style stuff. Oh God, we lost Hogue.
Oh, I hope he's okay.
It's what he gets for going out into the fucking woods, dude. I told him not to do it. Messing with old, decrepit books written in blood is not the way to go about things, you know?
We might have to give him a time code. It is all good. This is what happens sometimes, guys, with
No, there he is.
I'm back.
Do you need a time code?
Ooh. Yeah, I would. I want to see this Joker scene, but I'll skip ahead once I feel like we're at a slower scene.
It's just this is a big action beat in a club at the moment.
Well, if you just pause at 30 minutes, I can give you, because we're at 29:20. So
okay,
just pause at 30 minutes, and I will tell you when. I'll give you a 10 count. I'll give you a 10 count.
Okay, right now Joker just said, "Hello, Batman."
Cool. I'm at 29:30 right now. Just pause
Me
at
too.
30 minutes. Just pause at 30 minutes.
This is actually a pretty great action beat overall. Again, really just kind of gets the world in a cool light and the things that we see. We're going to be at about 10 seconds at 30.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 30 minutes. You all good, Pat?
Yeah.
So he's just left the club. There was a fight with the Joker squad.
Yeah, it's a necessary action beat for a show. It's essentially necessary action. This whole sequence doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the overall plot. It's just a way to distract Terry from what's happening with Bruce, and it's just narrative, and it's all good. He didn't miss too much. It's just a standard Batman action beat. What is cool though is this sequence coming up, which I think it's coming up almost now.
I love how much his helmet looks like Metroid and like Samus's helmet from that.
Oh, we need a Zero Suit Samus skin. That's Batman Beyond.
Ooh, with that color scheme.
Yeah. See, Ace is okay.
Oh, good. It's weird to have a last name that's also a first name.
I have one that's also a last name and a first
name.
I have like the third most common first name in the United States and like the fourth most common last name. It's great.
The ha-ha-has all the way up is so good.
Yep.
There's a lot of put those names together. It's very unique.
Yep. There's a lot of clues here too. If you once you watch this on replay, you'll see what I mean.
Ha ha ha! Who could have done this? Comedy Man. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, the stand-up comedian. That look on Bruce's face is just so like.
And original
Conroy do this laugh, by the way. Wow.
Yeah. In the censored version, I believe all the ha-ha-has were recolored to green because this was all implied to be blood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. This is in the Dark Knight Returns like animated movie where it has the studio audience that gets killed by the laughing gas and they're crying. Like, that seems horrible.
Yes. This is on that level.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that bad. Like that one goes.
Okay. It's because it's Bruce, though, is what I mean. Like, because you see it as Bruce dealing with it.
We're getting this is the sequence that we were talking about, Pat, that you probably have to really pay attention to. Essentially, the next 30 minutes of this film is some of the best DC animated storytelling period. DC storytelling period.
All right, that's high praise.
Yeah. And I'm talking, this is like Killing Joke level.
See, but I don't really like the Killing Joke.
The movie or the story?
Both.
Interesting.
It's not I just think it's a very over glorified story. I like elements, but there's a couple more I like a lot more.
Well, if you've ever read Death in the Family, this is essentially the animated version of it.
Mike says now we're getting to the good stuff. I think it's already the good stuff. That's how good I like this movie.
Mm-hmm. And also Mark Hamill voicing this guy too.
This guy just makes me
He's
feel
slimy. He's definitely slimy.
moist.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh man, Barbara wears the shit out of that coat. Pardon my language.
They actually recasted her too for this film. She was voiced by another lady in this animated series.
It really is like these kind of storylines that really play into the noir aspect of like we never thought he'd come back, and now dealing with him once more.
I would suggest this is probably the second to last thing in the DC animated universe that you would watch before you watch Epilogue, which is the finale of season 2 of Justice League, which is essentially the finale of Batman Beyond. Here we go. The Red Sky is back.
Yep.
And this is the redesigned Robin. This is Tim Drake. Again, in season 4 of Batman, they decided to streamline the design to make it coincide with Superman, the animated series. And the great Arlene Sorkin as Harley Quinn.
It does make me wish that a Batman movie could just give him like a simple skin tight suit. Like
sure.
Just like the armor's cool. I do like it. But it's just there's a classiness to this.
And again, in the new animated style, there's not much difference from this Joker to Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah.
Harley Quinn. Mr. J.
So I will say that during this entire sequence of them, there's a Black Canary too. Her first appearance in the DC animated universe.
That shot of Batman through the broken plate in the glass is just so good.
Originally, there was a cut scene where he was interrogating the Penguin at the Iceberg Lounge, and they cut it and replaced it with that shot. Yeah. I think it flows better without him.
Me too.
Yeah. This should be focused on the Joker. As much as a great cameo by Paul Williams as the Penguin would have been great, I feel like this needed to be Joker focused, and it's stronger because of that.
This is like the 3 weeks with nothing that we get an invitation. This is really like unsettling.
It really is, man.
Because note that Tim has been missing for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
This is a kid. This is a 13-year-old. You can't imagine how much guilt Bruce is.
Well, and just like you're Batman, and that still means nothing. Yeah. Like you're not finding Robin.
And of course, this sequence too actually had originally there was a sequence that they shot. I think the animatics on YouTube where they're walking through Arkham and they find the dead body of the Riddler hanging from the ceiling.
Oh my god!
It's weird. Yeah,
Paul Dini.
They were playing dark with this movie, man. Again, they had to make a lot of cuts because of stuff like that. Because the studio also doesn't want this to be dark if they're trying to sell toys.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, I feel like seeing somebody hanging from the ceiling in Arkham would have been great visually, but I don't think it was the right movie to do that. And you can see the animatic on YouTube. It's called the Arkham deleted scene from Return of the Joker. I'm not lying.
Him smoking a pipe.
Yep. Again, something you couldn't do on the animated series. Yep.
And it's like this 50s aesthetic home. And that music is even a little sitcom-y.
Punch him in the face.
This gets really creepy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you see the legs? Oh, God.
No, I think I know what this means. I think I remember this.
Oh, you've seen this.
I don't know if I have, but I kind of have an idea of what's coming.
Oh, okay.
I think I do. Well, just the fact that she said little J, I got an idea of what that means.
Yeah. Again, I appreciate the redesign. I kind of like the redesign for the most part. I feel like it's slicker. It's
A
not
Joker.
as
Sorry, not to cut you off, but the idea of wanting a Joker Jr. in the same way that Batman clearly wanted a Batman Jr. with Batman and Robin. You know what I mean?
Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spare kids.
Oh.
Again, this entire sequence gets pretty neutered in the PG cut. I'll explain after we're done. Yeah.
JJ.
JJ.
That look on his face, man, it's just...
He looks like something from Animaniacs.
It's crazy because, obviously, as it is, like, Robin has always had a very strange history as it is with, versions being killed. This is almost worse than the death version. Like, they totally destroy this kid's psyche.
Yeah. If you notice also, Batman threw a knife at Joker's head. That's cut from the PG thing. Anything with Joker with a knife was cut and painted out.
He'll bite your face off at this point, Barbara. Like, back up.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's...
This.
If I saw that as a kid, that'd mess me up. Like,
right? Well, because you also realize as a kid, as you're watching this, now you could have been one of the victims as much as literally anyone else. Yep. Kids are usually pretty off limits and stuff like this.
It's also important to note that this flashback is the last point of Batman the Animated Series continuity before Batman Begins. Batman Beyond.
Thing they could do. Just
outside of the pilot
the
stuff, obviously.
Mental corruption of a young child.
And the shot of the broken down Arkham and stuff is just so scary.
And it's such a tone shift because the animated series never went this horrifying.
Yeah.
But you know what? They needed it because at the end point, something's got to give.
Man, I'm so glad that Margot Robbie is getting like more chances to get Harley Quinn because like she was great in Suicide Squad. Yes. Awesome in Birds of Prey, and I'm really excited for the Suicide Squad.
Me
because
too.
It's such a good character.
Yeah.
I hope she gets another chance at doing another solo type film too. Like Birds of Prey had its box office run that was semi not amazing, but like there's so much to do with that character still, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love her shadow following. It's just like the bat logo.
Yeah.
Just like no shit. It just looks cool.
That's not.
That's not a good grip strength.
Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Yep.
It's so dark, man.
Yeah, poor Harley. Because Harley throughout the entire animated series is so kind of lovable to where this whole sequence it just makes it more tragic if you know her story from the animated show.
Yeah.
Again, I can't believe they got away with this. And they kind of didn't because most of this is cut in PG version.
Oh, no.
Yep.
This is sick.
It is, man. It really is. I agree with Mike. I'd love to see a Harley Quinn solo film or a Gotham City Sirens. I do too. I hope WB doesn't sit on that.
You guys watch the animated Harley Quinn show?
Not yet. I need to.
I've heard it's great.
It has a lot of balls. What they do, oh my god, they kill off people you don't think they'll kill off. That's all I say.
Oh man.
Yep. So he tortured Batman's secret identity out of Tim. He tortured a 14-year-old. You can just imagine the rage.
And just this dialogue as it's happening, man, it's just
so good. Yeah. They couldn't
so Paul Dini.
They couldn't adapt Death in the Family because of how violent it is. They did a hell of a job adapting it in the loosest way it could.
Oh, he's mad. Oh, Batman's mad.
Yep. All right, here
Mike
we go.
just said, I cannot stress how brilliant that series is. I really need to watch it. Yeah, Tim, we saw Birds of Prey together, didn't we? That was a good time, man. I freaking love that movie.
So all this blood that you see on his mouth and all of that was, and this whole that was cut and painted out. This whole ending sequence got butchered, and I'll explain why in a second.
Oh, man, you're better than that. You saw him pull out that knife.
Yeah.
It is like this is always the thing in a Batman story of like, well, the Joker can't win in a fist fight. Like, I don't buy that.
But this is a biggie. I'm gonna be quiet for a second so you can watch this.
Oh, God, scary Joker Robin just.
Oh.
Shut him.
All right, so Tim basically shot Joker point blank in the. As you can probably guess.
Sorry, not to, I think it was Tim. I think it was.
Yeah. So as you might have guessed, studios probably weren't too happy with that.
And the tears going down his face.
Yep. In the PG cut, Tim pushes Joker into an electric vat, and he just electrocutes himself by accident. It's hard to explain because the electric vat comes out of nowhere. You have to just watch the PG cut, and it's ridiculous.
Watching Hogue's face as this was happening was almost enough just for this alone.
I just that's dark.
It is, man.
And it was foreshadowed when he killed the one henchman earlier in the film, where it was the bang gun and it shot him.
Yeah. It's just the fact that, like, for ratings purposes, you have to like ruin story beats and like thematic setup and payoffs. I get it for like, you know,
the irony is they wanted to sell more DVDs, and in the meantime, they sold a lot of DVDs, but because they had to do all the reshoots, they lost money. That was the issue. So had they just kept the original thing, they would have made more money than doing the reshoots. It is what it is. That's what happens with a lot of things.
Wait, real quick. So wait, this Tim got better, is what they're saying?
Better. I mean, you had
like he tried to make up with Bruce and like
but they've told him he could never be Robin again, and he had to try to live a life that was more normal.
Because again, Bruce also disbanded the Bat family after that, is what they explained as well. It was essentially the end of the Bat Armada, and Bruce basically became.
This is Tim.
That is Tim, yes.
And was he the Joker kid? He
was Tim the Joker kid, yeah.
Okay, so the modern Joker isn't an older version of Tim.
The modern Joker's Joker, as far as we can tell.
Okay. All right. We'll see what's going on here. Oh. I like this this little floating tech fixer robot. Oh, all the gory details. You shot a man in the chest.
But also, he wasn't really conscious. He basically...
That line, by the way, where he's like, we all did, where we had to like learn to move on with their lives and put this stuff to rest, is just so good, man.
I'm assuming Barbara quit being Batgirl and she became commissioner or part of the police department and went to her dad. It also explains why the Bat family aren't in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, because
never change. Sorry, Chris, I just like that line.
Yeah. It also explains why they're not present, because again, they're disbanded.
Yeah, I love the red interior of the Batmobile in this.
Yeah, they made up for the blue sky in Batman Beyond, which you can see. They made it blue instead of red. And they made instead of the interior of the Batmobile being blue, they made it red. So they reversed the colors.
Ooh. We're getting sexy. All right. But now we got Sleazeball.
Voiced by the Joker. So it's established now that he's not working with the Jokers. So he was a red herring.
Oh, yeah. No, from the beginning, I was like, this guy is just like a throwaway. Like,
yeah, he was designed probably to be a red herring, but this whole scene establishes that, nope, he's not working with the Jokers.
I honestly just like was like, oh, he just doesn't like Wayne. Like, that's the main thing in all these Batman stories is like, there's always a pansy or always like somebody who isn't a part of it, but you think will be a part of it.
Yeah, there's also that guy at Wayne Manor or Wayne Corp that's just a dickhead, and he's one of those people.
Yeah,
like in Batman Begins, there was the guy who was played by
Rutger Hauer.
Rutger Hauer. He was the guy at Wayne Manor, was just like the throwaway douche who ran.
Don't worry, like the higher ups are handling Wayne.
Yeah,
Mr. Wayne.
No,
always a suit Batman has to fight.
My headcanon is they designed that character after this guy.
After who?
This guy, this head of Wayne Corp that is just a dick, but
for Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Man, no regard for Windows.
Not even a little.
Also, I want an origin story on that werewolf dude.
Okay, wait. Are there aliens now? Jesus. He karate chopped it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And this is Independence Day.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Mike K says, I don't know if anyone brought it up yet, but Goal is actually voiced by Michael Rosenbaum doing a spot-on Christopher Walken impression.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
and
Michael.
He's
the Flash. Yeah,
he's also Lex Luthor in Smallville.
Oh fuck yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I always.
That was the one I knew. I didn't know the.
Oh,
he's still maybe arguably the best live-action Lex Luthor we've ever seen, and it was on a CW show.
Oh, okay. I watched. I more know him as the Flash. I forgot
Isn't
that he was
in the Suicide Squad as well.
Yeah, because he's in all of Gunn's movies for the most part. Because he and Gunn are really good friends.
Is he Lex? Because that would be cool.
Well, no, he's not in that, obviously, but he's.
That'd be cool though.
He was also in Guardians 2. It would. I was bummed out, man. I thought for sure he was the one in Crisis that would pop up in the end, and they didn't manage to get him in, which was really too bad.
Salutes Batman.
I also like how he just recorded their entire conversation on his fingertips.
Right.
That was a little like Miyazaki like explosion in the skies parting ways and like crumpling up like.
Yeah.
I just love how buff the dog is too. Like that's a Batman dog.
Yeah. I do like how they incorporated Ace though.
Bruce. I love the subtitles for the barking is Arf.
Yeah.
Arf, arf.
It's the Joker. You would have getting crazy.
Interesting.
Oh, rude. You pay respect. Terry's a detective too, it seems like.
Again, the detective side of Batman is what I also appreciate about the animated series in this universe. You'd never get that from any other film.
Yeah.
It's like very sparse elements in The Dark Knight, but like that's really about it.
And Batman
Otherwise, it goes to
Begins.
Ninja.
I think Batman Begins, Batman Returns, and Batman 89 have the most detective aspects in there. Particularly Begins and Returns, because there were actual instances. I mean, and Dark Knight
Well, like
too.
Dark Knight has like the bullet, and then the whole,
bull.
like,
Yeah, that too. Rises, it just drops the
Yeah.
ball with that.
but that's the thing with like the Batman. Like it really looks like hopefully they're getting into like the importance of him working with like Gordon.
I love,
like-
by the way, sorry, not to step on what you're saying.
No, you're good.
That moment when Bruce realizes that it might be Tim, like he didn't want to believe it, and then he just goes, suit up, and he's finally giving Terry like the okay to be Batman again. And he's like, you go investigate this, because he doesn't want him to be right, but he also knows he's probably right.
Because the stuff
It's a
that he
big
was
moment.
working on was part of that.
Yeah.
That thing in the sky.
Tim, you sly dog. Fooled me. His eyebrows look like batarangs.
You didn't have to say hologram to
It's one of those things.
I
though,
love that.
I always think that's done more for people who may not be able to see.
Probably.
It is also, they refer to him so much in this, like, a ghost. He's a ghost from the past, that like there could be like, wait, is he actually a ghost?
Apparently, Hamill said that this Joker plan, by the way, with Drake is the one thing that unsettled him the most that he ever recorded, as far as what they did to Tim as a child. It was the one time he was super unsettled by what they did.
Of course, because it's a 14-year-old kid, and he kind of...
Which is so, like, again, crazy, like, to comparison of how much darker they go with the Arkham games and with that Joker.
Right.
Like, they really, like, skirt to rated R level with that one.
They do, but I don't think any Joker, even in those games, went and abused a 14-year-old kid, which he essentially did.
I don't know. They imply he does a lot of murderous, horrible stuff.
Oh, yeah, but I think violence on a kid, it supersedes a lot of things. But yeah.
Like that Joker, I definitely wouldn't put past. Like,
oh, that Joker was probably really screwed up and probably did a lot of screwed up things.
yeah. These lasers, these are mean. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was smart of you, Terry.
Terry's brilliant.
Again, though, people need to start taking out insurance on all these windows. Like, there's just like broken glass and like, yeah, Ace, Red Dog in the. Oh.
I like to think in 50 years in the future, maybe insurance doesn't exist and everybody's rich because it looks like it.
Or just like bulletproof glass. Like this, everyone's just breaking it. If you have in a city with Batman, just like start, being a little bit more secure with your infrastructure.
What's kind of sad is that this was made in 1999. 50 years from then. Well, go for it.
Sorry, Mike said even in The Dark Knight, Bruce leans a little too heavily on Lucius Fox's technology for my liking. I agree. It's part of the thing I don't love about Nolan's series is that I don't think they lean on the detective angle enough.
Yeah, but that's just a different Batman at that point.
I mean, I agree, but I'm just saying that's just my preference of the character.
Totally.
Batman Begins through the second act of Batman The Dark Knight is some of the best cinematic Batman ever.
Yes.
I love him talking to Ace. That's great.
Yeah. I like how he just brought Ace along for no reason.
Look at this shit, by the way. They're literally just blowing up parts of Gotham.
This is...
people are dying.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Those people were dead.
Even Terry just looked back and was like, Jesus Christ.
What if there was a couple? What if there was a couple in one of those cars? They just died.
Oh yeah, everyone's dead. Yeah.
I mean, he's just destroying buildings and freeways and.
No, I think we can all agree this is a lot. This is It's just a Man of Steel level destruction here, you guys.
They could make a whole season 4 of Batman Beyond and just the destruction aftermath. It sucks it ended where it did.
was weird. Arf, arf. That's right, Ace. My one true buddy in crime.
I freaking love this score so much.
And
I need to see if I can find a copy of this.
It's always a cool design choice to have like an old, nostalgic looking building in the middle of like Future Zone. Like,
yeah.
And guys, I am aware that season 3 of Batman Beyond aired after this movie was released, but it was all in the same production order.
Yeah, it wasn't smart to shoot on top of a smokestack, idiot. God, what do you think
Season 3 was only like 13 episodes, which was sad. They like cut it mid-production because of how bad the video sales were.
The no pupils on this like werewolf guy. Yeah, Ace. Yeah.
Dog fight. Dog fight. Dog fight.
This is what I want.
No, not that I want actually, dog fights. Obviously.
No. Good bad dog. Yeah. It's never not cool to like not look and do the fist behind you and knock somebody out. Oh man, Batman's gonna beat up ladies.
No, he's letting them beat up themselves at first.
Oh, isn't... Alright, that's a little... Cheese puffs. Oh no, marbles.
They look like gumballs to me because it's a candy factory.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That was cool.
For some reason, I thought they... Good boy, Pat.
No, I was just saying that's a good way to get them around Batman beating up women is to have them beat themselves up like accidentally. So it's like smart move on the writer on Paul.
Yeah, and then of course to like use the gumballs, they fall over. He didn't actually like harm them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how this factory kind of looks like it's from Batman the Animated Series. It has that old deco kind of look to it.
Mm-hmm. And it always feels like a throwback to like earlier comics in that kind of way of just like
the
old
30s.
Pinocchio aesthetics and like... Yeah, Tim Drake. Another two, like both your first and last name could be your first name.
Yeah.
I do like Terry McGinnis like trying to do a Batman voice, but it works. But it's like then Kevin Conroy's there, like I just sound cool. He's like, I'm Batman.
Right.
Whacked. It's a terrifying teddy bear. Wait, he repressed that? He repressed that he killed the Joker?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This whole moment is so good.
Oh.
I'm just saying. I'm staying quiet during this one.
I just don't want to make it complete dead air, but like
it gets hard in a way, not in a bad way, but I just get so invested, if you will.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can say that won't spoil anything.
Yeah, fair. Bat fake. You can just put bat in front of anything and it'll like make it mean more. Because so it can't just be that he's the modern Joker.
No,
Like,
you'll see. You'll see.
No, I know. So I'm just theorizing if you guys can't talk. Like, I'm just so if you're hyping up this much, I'm so curious like what the reveal is going to be. It is just so. This is what Batman can always rely on. Of like,
right.
Well, of just like all these like histories, like interweaving with each other. What the heck?
Also, you gotta just give the design like a sense of like fairy taleism. Like,
Yeah,
he was an overweight dad bod. Goes into to tall lanky Joker, but
yeah, but he was in the living room when Joker appeared. Like he was watching it on the TV.
he was watching the replay.
Yeah, it was an old broadcast.
Yep.
Oh, are we dealing with like a whole?
There it is.
Yep.
Using
Oh.
technology, which I love.
Yep. The technology that I'm assuming because it's implied in Batman in Justice League that he got this technology from Cadmus. It's a government agency. If you've seen Suicide Squad, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you rewatch this, Pat, on your own, knowing what happens, and you see all the context clues, you'll notice.
Yeah. The whole tech aspect, like always.
You'll notice that when he's watching
like
the
Joker
news,
never feels techie to me.
Yeah, watch when he watches the news. It's a replay. Notice the Robin costume is the only one that's destroyed.
Yeah, well, they pointed that out earlier.
Yeah.
It's just like Joker never feels like a tech-based villain to me. So it's just like it's an interesting like.
I almost like it for that
new dynamic.
He isn't, because that's another clue. Why is he so all of a sudden into all this tech?
Huh. But the original Joker is the one who set it up.
The tech in his brain?
Well, like, yeah, why is he in the microchip?
Well, it's tech that he stole.
Yeah, it's just the fact that like I couldn't see
smiley face, by the way, the smiley face.
The tech in his brain is never explicitly like explained why how he got that. Here, it's a kind of explained in Justice League Unlimited with Cadmus, but that's another conversation.
No. It's like not even that like, and it works for this story. It's just like Joker as a character never seemed as one that like felt techie to me.
I would argue that
I
would argue that in the animated series he is kind of, because you get the world's finest where he basically takes over LexCorp.
Yeah, and these are like versions of the characters I'm not as familiar with.
Yeah.
You don't touch Ace.
It's hard to really talk about stuff that probably you guys have not seen because it's just there's no talking point with it. But there's a lot of instances in the animated series where he gets into the Saturday morning cartoon realm because it's Saturday morning cartoons. Mm-hmm. So I see it, but it's not his usual modus operandi. But
it's a cool Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde way to take the Joker.
Just also note that this is just his consciousness. This isn't Joker himself.
It's just the fact that the original Joker would have to plan for this. But it still works, like, as a character thing. Oh my god. And yeah, he has Tim Drake's, like, strength and, like, athletics to be able to use.
And the fact that his chip is so obviously on his neck.
And it's like, if anyone ever played Batman Arkham Knight, there's a big kind of element that's similar to this in that story. That's really cool.
With the Bane serum?
No, that's Arkham Asylum, the third one, Arkham Knight.
I've never played that.
Oh, Chris, is that
with Azrael and stuff?
No, that's Arkham City.
That's Arkham City. Okay.
Oh wait, and I think Azrael makes an appearance in Arkham Knight, but there is a lot of Joker stuff in Arkham Knight.
Oh, is that where there's the fantasy sequence inside of Batman where he's turning into the Joker? Is that Arkham Knight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he goes into Joker's brain and he sees like the Penguin and Killer Croc meeting.
Yeah.
I've seen. I haven't played it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're slowly turning into Joker because of the Venom.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All three of those games kind of mesh with me story-wise.
And I do like this incarnation of the story where like the original Joker is fighting a new Batman. So it's like, oh, I can't play by the same rules like morally. Like,
and also he thinks this is Bruce because also part of his consciousness is Tim.
Aw, that's a. Oof. I like Terry like breaking him down. Ah, Joker's just a drama queen, or like he just like wants attention.
He doesn't like people laughing at him.
Or just the fact that Batman didn't pay him attention in the way he wanted.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's so good.
PJ, you haven't talked in a while. What do you think about all this?
I'm just enjoying it. Sorry, I get really caught up in that third act of this. It's just so good.
Oh, it's great.
I love this movie so much, you guys, and so I'm enjoying watching it just kind of play out.
If you guys are enjoying this, I highly suggest going through the DC animated universe. It's some of the best storytelling besides MCU.
Yeah,
and it's such a good. And I don't know why Warner Brothers didn't just go with the writers of this show to write the DCEU. Is there any reason why they didn't do that?
It's one of those things. I don't have a lot of answers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Put a table on Batman. That'll stop him. Oh my god, just strangling him. McGinnis is a good last name for a villain to say. McGinnis!
So good.
Yeah. Oh, also, I want to make a correction that his thing inside his head is inside his head. It makes it look like it's on his neck, but it's actually inside his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
I will say Terry's got some good one-liners.
Because if that was on his head, it would have been easy to kind of spot.
Yeah. All right, I'm a bit chubbier now. Don't worry. It is.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how they did.
I get it.
That's weird. It's weird.
Does Tim Drake show up in Batman Beyond? Like the older version of him?
This is the only time Tim Drake appears in Batman Beyond.
So it's like you could design it. I think they want to throw you off so you aren't guessing it.
Yeah, but
it's.
If you made Joker look more like Jack Nicholson, yeah, he could have been the chubby Joker.
That's a good point. Ooh, yeah. See, but I feel like that would give it away more,
Yeah, but also if you aged Joker up, it kind of made him look 50 years older. It could have worked.
Yeah, it's a kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. It works.
But you know what? It's not something I ever really think about because of how good the movie is.
And it's just like I'm coming in for this being my first kind of impression of all this, so I'm trying to be more well, wait a second, I need this all explained. Where it's if you saw the show and you'd get what works and what doesn't.
And this is a sweet little moment they didn't have to add in, but they did.
There's a lot of alliteration.
So somehow Harley Quinn survived the fall.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that is?
That's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, they just said it. Yeah. Thanks, Aunt Harley or Grandma Harley.
Yeah, okay. They just said it for me.
Oh, you were behind. Oh, shit. Sorry about
that. This whole movie sucks now. Oh, Barbara wearing the gun holster
is pretty cool.
God.
But I think the whole purpose of this movie is also to explain away why Robin, Batgirl, and Nightwing are not in Justice League. It was clever because I think they knew the bat embargo was going to happen. The bat embargo, as I was saying, was they were kind of not allowed to use any characters in Justice League besides Batman and the Joker. And even the Joker wasn't able to be used the last 2 seasons. So this whole animated universe got really screwed over by the studios when they should have just let them do their thing because the storytelling is so good.
Well, and it's just what you said of also with the concurrence of Batman and Robin and just the perception of superhero stuff,
it wasn't until Batman Begins where things started to get picked back up.
Yeah.
It's sad because the show suffered because of it. Because they had after this movie, they aired 13 of the remaining episodes for season 3, but then production just stopped until Justice League, and it's sad.
It's like you also had like X-Men and Spider-Man, and they're like planting the seeds again for like the new modern superhero movie.
Back
But it's
then,
like Warner Brothers always
movies had a
got
different
footage.
feel. It wasn't the same feel. Those movies felt like they were making movies and not comic book movies.
Yeah, but that's also kind of what Batman Begins felt like. Of like, this was just a good movie.
Right.
And I just love the art I love how Batman Beyond is basically the antithesis of the animated series. Blue skies, high tech, when the animated series was the 1930s and a red sky. It's just great design.
Yeah,
And it is like, you could have done something like this with Superman.
You couldn't do anything like this with Superman, but I want to iterate that Superman the animated series, which I think just got released on Blu-ray or something. Check it out.
But like in the same vein as like Batman animated to Batman Beyond, like you could have done Superman animated to like Superman Beyond, and like be a little weird, probably because he probably doesn't age the same way.
Yeah, they actually go into that because Superman appears in the show called The Call. It's a great episode.
This electric guitar really is like shredding.
Adding an electric guitar to a Batman score is so unique.
I agree, and man, I'm glad we watched that. Sorry, I got so quiet. I was just very much enjoying.
You were enthralled. You were.
I really love the movie, man.
You're into it,
especially because it is kind of like the last grasp, if you will, at like what's left of the DC animated universe at that time. I mean, we get the epilogue later in Justice League, but that's pretty much where it begins and ends. And you know, for me, I loved this show growing up, so revisiting the movie, and it still holds up. I think it's like a really great turn on what like Under the Red Hood kind of was, in doing it in a different way, where, you know, Tim Drake doesn't necessarily get murdered, but you kind of destroy his psyche, and what does that do? And there's just so much that I love about it, even though I know obviously Under the Red Hood is Jason Todd, but like to play that angle.
This was their Jason Todd story.
This was their version of Jason Todd story. So
because you could not do Jason Todd in the animated universe and make it kid friendly. They made it, I would argue, what happened to Tim was worse than getting bludgeoned to death by a a crowbar. I think this was worse. What happened to him just psychologically and just mentally, what they did is just horrible. But I mean, it made for a great story.
It really did. And the movie works incredibly well. Still, I think it holds up. I think that it has some of the most interesting elements of this Batman universe, at least for me, being brought to screen. Down to Hogue now. You know, what are your thoughts now that you've watched it?
Yeah, no, it's just like every time, or I should even like preface, like I have always had Batman animated series like on that list of, you need to get to that. Like that is like kind of crucial material that, especially for my interest, especially for just like pop culture and stuff. And I know just from reviews that it's beloved, and but it's the same example every time I see like a Batman story, whether it is Batman Beyond, whether it's a game, whether it's a movie. It's just, there's so much legacy and history there that you can do anything with it and it'll still feel impactful. And it always feels like the perfect kind of a property to deal with legacy in a way that can evolve and reflect on itself and adapt new things, but also make new stuff with the stuff you're adapting. Like, it's so moldable in a way that's so creative, and like seeing names like Paul Dini like carry throughout the years and stories that I'm familiar with gives me more of an appreciation for what's come before. And like, this is just another example of like, I thought I knew the Joker, I thought I knew Batman, but like, nope, there's just so much more you can do with it. And like, this is just another great example of that.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit it. Like, that's one of the things I've always liked, is it always feels like maybe, you know, you think you know, right? And then maybe you don't necessarily know what you thought you knew. And I've always loved it for that reason. And I think that that's such an interesting twist of like the Joker finding a way to live through technology and kind of infiltrate someone else's body to try to continue to live. Like, especially in Batman Beyond, it's almost a perfect way to do it. And of all the characters, Joker is arguably the one that I would believe would try to do something like that. Even if he's not a tech-based villain, he'd always find a way to survive. You know?
Yeah, it's a kind of complaint I've actually had with the animated series, is that even though Mark Hamill's phenomenal and this was a great story with Joker, they could have delved into somebody else, because we're getting a lot of Joker fatigue now. Like you don't want to see a movie with the Joker. He's been done so much, and he's a great villain. But there's also a lot of great villains that could be put in that situation. Like this could have been easily the Mad Hatter. This could have easily been the Riddler. This could have easily been somebody else, and that's just a flaw with DCA. But this was also meant to sell videos, and but Mark Hamill's Joker's phenomenal. This movie's great. There's little itsy bitsy things I would have changed. Like there's a little bit like I feel like they could have fleshed it out a little more. An hour and 18 minutes I feel like this could have been a little longer. But this film is great, and I do highly suggest you go to and you Pat to watch Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, because the lore of this universe almost if not supersedes the MCU.
Is that going to be on HBO Max?
I feel like in time it would have to be.
This all should be because I'm assuming that DC Universe, which all this stuff is on right now concurrently, is going to merge with that, and you'll be able to get
there's a reason to watch it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's so good, man. I just love this universe. I love the world. I love what they've set up in it, and it just. For me, it works. It works on a lot of levels, and I think to me the thing that I've always loved is that the reason I love the MCU is the interconnectivity of it all. And DC was ahead of its time in animation, doing the same thing between Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, Batman Beyond, like Zeta Project. They all existed together in one universe, and I always loved that. And so it was bittersweet for them to end it. And, they've done recently, they did another DC animated universe over the last couple of years where they did the last 15 movies were all interconnected for the most part with the same voice casts. And, it was all started in Flashpoint. It ended with Justice League, Apocalypse War, but it was never quite the same after what they did here. And I think Batman Beyond is, at least for me, like that last grasp of, we had something really great, and it's really too bad that it disappeared as quickly as it went. But at the same time, I'm almost glad that it did, because we can look back on it fondly and like celebrate it instead of it running its course too long and then, disappearing into the night and being less beloved.
And it's digestible because there's only 4 seasons of Batman the Animated Series, 3 of which are episodic and not lore-based. So anything after season 3 of Batman the Animated Series basically goes into fitting it into a larger arc. So the first 3 seasons of Batman the Animated Series are episodic. Then you have 3 seasons of Superman the Animated Series, 3 seasons of Batman Beyond, 2 seasons of Justice League, and 2 seasons of Justice League Unlimited. That's not a lot of material, but it's condensed into a great story, great characters, and great world building I wish we got more of. And this is all due to the fact that this was made in a time when Batman and Robin was still a thing. Batman Begins and the Batman Dark Knight trilogy were taking things away and making the universe darker, so they couldn't use those characters. So this whole universe has great storytelling. Just don't expect to see a lot of what you would. They delve into rarer characters, which is more interesting in Justice League. So the entire universe is just flawless, and you should check it out if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. But, I'm really glad we did this and we got to enjoy this universe together. Real quick, before we head off, once again, you guys, if you have not already, please watch Little Shop of Horrors. It was a lot of fun getting to break down that. I think it's 2.5 hours of some of the best material we've ever done. Of course, we also have Newsies coming out on Wednesday with Kevin Smets, which should be a ton of fun. Of course, you can look forward to 10 Cloverfield Lane on Friday evening. Next weekend, the double feature. I don't know if anyone's ready for it. I know I am. Or not next weekend. I guess the end of the year. We haven't quite gotten there yet. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. We are. Pacific Rim double feature. With Godzilla 98. Sean Sullivan will be in-house with us to hang out and do that. And, of course, the Bill and Ted triple feature coming at you guys. Date to be determined. We haven't quite done it yet date-wise, but we'll let you guys know it'll be a different day than the normal watch-alongs because we got to dedicate some time to this one. And, of course, Front Center Mezzanine returns on Thursday with Allison Brezzi. Maxwell and I are very excited to talk with her and her entire existence in the Broadway community. It should be a lot of fun. And of course, Scary Movie Squad is coming, you guys. It's going to be the best. I can't wait. Guys, we had a great night. Hogue, where can everyone find you online?
Find me at all the social media places at Hogue_filmmaker on Twitter and Instagram. Find all my short films on my Vimeo at Patrick Hogue, and find my latest short film, So, on Crypt TV's YouTube channel. It's so great.
I was going to say it. You took it away from me before I could, you asshole. And of course, Chris Clark, where can everyone find you online, my friend?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Clark 8788. Those numbers mean nothing. Every Wednesday doing Suddenly Soundtracks. And this is just gonna be fun. Rock the suckers at the end of the time. Bada bing, bada boom.
Absolutely. And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. And of course, you can find me over at the Movie Trivia Schmodown, where I am the head writer. If you have not already, you should check out yesterday's Sunday Coffee on Ben Goddard's channel, as well as the last episode of From a Certain Point of View for the Schmodown channel, where I got to hang out with Abby Friel and we got to talk about the writing, because we are human beings and not computers for the fans to yell at. So please go watch, let us talk, get to know us a little bit, and, hear where we are, like how we got here and what we do, and understand that, human error happens, but we're also, we're trying our best to make it the best show possible. We love you guys. So until next time, guys, just as Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. We'll see you guys on the next one.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. I said so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Oh, it's been great to play and sing together in the box, and now it's time to say goodbye. Oh, so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye, for now, until we meet again. Goodbye for now, until we meet again.